Hi. It's for my granddaughter. It's Grandma here. I'm going to read a children's book to you. One of the ones of Out of Your Mother's collection that I still have here in her old bedroom. But I'm going to, and then at the end, parents, I'm going to give you information on Suzanne Tate and the person that writes this series. But right now, let's get to the fun for the kids. All right, this is a book about Spunky Spot, and we're going to start reading here. It's Spunky Spot, A Tale of One Smart Fish by Suzanne Tate and illustrated by James Melvin. Okay? So, Spunky Spot was a little fish. He was a kind of fish called Spot. Spunky had a gold and silver sides, and he had a black spot on each side. Spots swim in schools. They feed on the bottom of the water. There they find good things to eat, tiny clams and shrimp and crabs. When Spunky Spot was very little, he couldn't wait to be in the school. He wanted to learn to read. And as the days went by, he swam at the bottom. Soon he was big enough to swim in the school of spots. Spunky met his teacher in the school, Miss Spiffy Spot. She was kind and fine, and she was spiffy. In the school, he learned to read, See Spot, swim. It was exciting to learn to read, but Spot learned many other things. From Miss Spiffy Spot, she taught him how to feed along the bottom of the water. Stick your nose right in the mud, Miss Spiffy Spot said. Maybe you can find a little soft crab or clam buried there. Spunky did as his teacher told him to do. He was a good little spot in the school. I have trouble with the pages sometimes. Okay. Soon he stopped and ate a little clam. Oh, what a tasty morsel, Spunky said. Miss Spiffy Spot knew there were other things for Spunky to learn. Very important things like saying no to worms. Now, worms were tasty to Spots, but inside worms there were hooks. Hooks just right to catch the spots. Just say no to worms, Miss Spiffy Spot said to Spunky. Spunky wanted to listen to his teacher. He knew that she knew best. But Spunky was young and he wanted to be daring and he wanted to try new things. One day, Spunky was swimming in the school and they were near the little bridge. The little bridge was a tempting place for Spots. They could find lots of worms there in the water. But the worms had to catch them. Hidden inside were those shiny, sharp hooks. Surely they won't hurt me, he thought to himself. And then in his mind he's saying, just say no. That's what Miss Spiffy Spot said. But then he remembered Miss Spiffy Spot's warning. Just say no to worms. About that time, he saw one of the spots nibble a worm. Suddenly, that spot was swished away, and he was gone, just like that. There was a catch to the worm, and that spot was in a bad spot. Miss Spiffy Spot came swimming up to Spunky. Now see what happens when you're hooked, she says. I'm glad to see you have the spunk to say no. Spunky knew for sure now, better safe than sorry. I'll stick to old favorites, he sang as he swam away. Little clams and shrimp look better to me than ever before. I'll always say no to worms. All right, so parents, and adults, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Suzanne Tate. She worked with my mother and a couple of the mothers of some good friends of mine. I won't get into those details, but this is a picture of her I would estimate that was probably taken 20 or 30 years ago. Makes sense since this was published and copyrighted in 1989. This is the local artist, James Melvin, who learned that he could illustrate things very well. And I think he went on to have a career in fine art, so you can find some of his paintings and things at the different galleries on Gallery Row over what we call on the beach, which I think would be Kill Devil Hills, is where that is, or Nag's Head. Also, the Dare County Arts Council in downtown Manteo. Now, at Manteo Booksellers, M-A-N-T-E-O, Manteo Booksellers, you can order Suzanne's series, okay? And she has quite a lot that she's published. This is the list that she had published up to 1989. So it's things like Kathy and Nabby, Mary Manatee, Krabby's Water Wish, Harry Horseshoe Crab, Tammy Turtle. So Suzanne has, they call it a nature series, and it's about the life of the sea creatures in our area. So you can, I'm going to hold the ISBN number up for you. You can order it by that. Manteo Booksellers is an independent book dealer, and they would be thrilled for you to order it on their website. Again, Manteo Booksellers, M-A-N-T-E-O, Booksellers. And you can also get in touch with Suzanne Tate, probably online now, but this was, let me see, here is an address that might still be available. It's a P.O. Box 88 in Nag's Head, and the zip code is 27959. The old number is 919-441-7480. The reason I say old number, because the phone number is no longer 919. It's 252. But I suspect the rest of that's still the same, 252-441-7480. But you can get these books through Manteo Booksellers or any of, well, I shouldn't say any of, but some of the national parks here in on the Outer Banks. Some of the little independent bookstores on various islands have them. But Suzanne Tate Nature Series is just a wonderful thing to have and enjoy. Thanks. Y'all have a good day.